Hey yo doers, what's up? It's your boy Happy Chappy here, and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday! And look at, on this one, I have many iron farms. I have many iron farms, but I don't think I've actually done one that is updated for 1.16. Now, I have a world download for it, but we basically have not gone through the build thing, so let's do that today on Tutorial Tuesday. Now, per usual, we're sticking to the very basic, very easy on this Tutorial Tuesday. We might switch it up a little bit next week when we build this massive super smelter, but nonetheless, let's get into the build. Now, for this iron farm, very straightforward. 6 slabs, 7 glass, 6 trapdoors, 4 signs, 3 beds, a bucket of water, and then your temporary blocks, and then the killing chamber. You can set this up however you would like. I'm just going with the same one that I always use. It's going to use 20 blackstone walls, 26 extra glass, a bucket of lava, some water, my hopper, and then my chest. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do for this iron farm is very straightforward. You're just going to build up 7 blocks in the air. And then on your 8th block, you're going to place down a piece of glass. Then what you're going to do is, depending on which direction your farm is going to face, you're going to place down a temporary block in front. And this is where we are going to go bed number 1, temporary block, bed number 2, temporary block, bed number 3. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place down a temporary block on the back with one more piece of glass and then another one on top of it. Then you're going to take your water source, you're going to place it right in the center. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your trap doors and you're going to place down 5 of them in this pattern here. And then above this pillow, we're going to place down 2 temporary blocks, remove the bottom one, and then try to get and then put a trap door right on the bottom of that temporary block there. So as you can see, you can just build out a little bit with some scaffolding and you should be able to get this done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our villagers in place. Now if you have rails, go for it, do it, but here's an easy way to do this. We're going to wait for nighttime and then we're going to build the stairs up to these 3 beds here. Now, because there's no other beds in the vicinity, there's no other villagers in the vicinity as well. As soon as we let these guys free and give them a pathway up to these beds, they're going to link to it and we should be good to go. So as you can see, I have a path up to the beds. I have the trap door open so that way they can get in there. Now we're just going to wait the extra 5 minutes here for this nighttime to come and then we should be all right. Now, while we wait for nighttime, another thing to keep in mind is that the zombie that we are going to need for this, I mean, we can alter this later on to use a pillager and some other stuff, but honestly, the zombie works just fine, and this method here too as well. I'll show you once we do kind of stack them together and add them together. I'll show you why that old iron farm that I did in 1.14 or 1.5 is still, you know, pretty much the king of the crop when it comes to iron farms. Even though their villagers are still pretty tight together, I mean, the amount of output is pretty insane for the effort that you actually got to put into it here. Okay, so nighttime is about to come here. We should see these guys start to do their little, you know, what the?
Hello there.
You just scared me. Okay, so it should technically be nighttime now. So let's let these guys free. And yes, as you can see, we immediately get the little jingles and all 3 of them are heading up to their beds. Yep, come on. There we go. Perfect. Okay, once we have all 3 villagers in bed here, what we're going to do is we're going to place down a temporary block above them like so. So actually place down 2 temporary blocks and then we're going to place down a piece of glass here. And when these guys wake up, they should stay in place and we shouldn't have them bounce all over the place. Now what we are going to do is we're going to come to the front of this bed. So temporary block. You want to do this really quick at nighttime too, so that way these guys don't wake up. And we're going to count 4 blocks in total. So 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And this is the gap that we are going to have in between our zombie and our pillagers. So we can now go down. We're going to build up 5 more blocks. Temporary block with a slab underneath. Put a temporary block in the center of that slab and then just surround this with your remaining slab pieces here. So like so. Okay, so like that, and that is where you are going to put your villager. So you're going to want to get him up into place. Now, this is kind of similar to the villagers. You can set this up in a way to where the zombie is going to think that he has path to the villagers, and you could actually just kind of get him to walk his way up into this thing and then quickly trap him up in place. Another thing to do is to actually just use yourself kind of as bait. And as you can see, you can pretty much just coax this zombie up and into place to wherever you... No, I don't want to do that. To exactly where you need him. That is right. You are in place, sir. And then just put a slab over top of his head. Simple as that. Literally as simple as that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of glass and place it above his head so that way nobody can spawn on top. And as you can see, we've already got an iron golem spawning in. So this is why it's important to make sure you block his line of sight from the villagers, because yeah, what's up? Okay, so now that we have the villagers in place and we have the zombie in place too as well, now we just need to set up the collection chamber and the kill chamber for the iron golems here, so that way they don't do anything crazy like spawn all over the rest of the place. Just leave this guy in place for now. So what you're going to do is anywhere underneath the farm, okay, you're just going to count up 2 blocks and place down a temporary block with a piece of glass on it, and then one more on each side, just like so. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place down another temporary one and run 3 more pieces of glass off of that, and then put our builder blocks in between this little V that we just made. So that is what it should look like. We can then remove this. We're going to climb up to the top. On the back side here, this is where we are going to place our wall blocks. So we're going to do a temporary block in the back corner like so. Then we're going to run our wall blocks off of it. Okay, we can remove that. And then we're going to take our remaining glass blocks and we're going to make a 2-high wall all around this corner here. And then you just want to make sure that you close this in. And that is what it should look like. So you should have your glass here on the edge with your spawning platform and then your glass walls. Now the reason why we do the glass here on the edge is we do not want the iron golems to spawn on the edges of this farm. If they spawn over here on a solid block, what's going to happen is they'll get trapped inside or halfway in the wall, and the water will push them out through the farm. Then you'll end up with an iron golem lingering around and the farm will essentially break. So it's super important that we have the glass here along the edges. Now we're just going to take our remaining glass. We're going to build up a 2-high little backboard just like that. Then we're going to place down 1 sign on the bottom, 1 sign in the middle, 1 sign on this outside corner, and our final sign there. This is where we can put our lava. Then we can turn around and place our water here. Do not place it on top of the walls. And right there, our farm is done. So now all we need to do is we can build these walls up higher if you would like to. Not really necessary, but that is why we brought along the extra walls. So let's just remove all of the extra dirt that we have lying around here. So we don't want any dirt for anything to spawn on. And once you are done, that is what you should have. Literally, it is so simple, so straightforward. It's amazing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove these dirt blocks. But before we do, we want to get a glass block there above that trap door. So it is actually a top half block. So we need to get a glass just in line and above that one there. So just go temporary block with a piece of glass. And essentially you are done. Now, one other thing we want to keep in mind before we do start this farm is this one bed right here. If you have issues and you're watching your farm and the iron golems eventually stop or they slow down, flip this bed around right here so that the pillow is facing the opposite direction as these ones. Keep these ones facing forward as they are, but flip this bed around and face it backwards. So like so. And you should have no issues with this farm whatsoever. So now what we can do is we can remove this dirt block, remove these ones. We need to quickly go and remove all the other ones too as well. But yeah, as you can see, iron golems already, but we need to get rid of these dirt blocks right here. Okay, and there you go. Iron farm done and ready to go. So now all we need to do is put our chest and our hopper in place like so. And now we can just sit back and marvel at the glory and the easy and the simplicity of this iron farm. Okay, so as you can see here, we just had another iron golem come in. So here's what we are going to do. That's right, I installed carpet mod. I can properly test these farms now. Now, one thing to keep in mind, so what you're seeing happen here is that every villager is getting the ability to sleep. That is key. So what that tells you is that the villagers are losing sight of the zombie for a split second, okay? And as you can see, we are switching here to daytime now, and we're still getting our iron golem spawn. Now, they do slow down a little bit during the daytime. As you can see, the rates are not coming in as fast, but nonetheless, you still get your iron golems, and it's one literally every 45 seconds. What is basically happening is they are bouncing in the water ever so slightly. That bouncing is enough for them to gain sight of the zombie over here, and then when they drop below it, that is enough for them to lose sight of the zombie that is over here. Now, I have done hours and hours of testing without carpet mod on this farm years ago, and when I first started this channel too as well, and this setup here is literally flawless. It is absolutely flawless. It doesn't break, it doesn't stop working, it constantly goes, and as you can see, when it switches over to nighttime here, you get the bedtime dance, and all villagers are meeting every single requirement that they need in order to spawn iron golem. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, I have the platform set up, so they're doubled, right? Mirrored each other. The gap in between the platform is at least 16 blocks, and as you can see here, the iron that we are getting is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Now, obviously, we are on a tick warp, but if you would consider this, regular time, and the fact that you're getting in 2 iron golems basically every 45 to 50 seconds, I'd say it's pretty insane for how simple of a setup this is. And one key thing to keep in mind is that we are playing with all of the mechanics here with this simple setup that we are looking at. So each of the pods of the villagers are outside of their range to communicate each other to spawn an iron golem. And both of these spawning platforms are outside the 16 block detection range of the villagers, which is why you are capable of spawning an iron golem on each platform every single time. But that is it right there, you guys. So that is the new and improved, updated 1.16 iron farm video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys can use this in your world. I mean, you should be able to set this up in quite literally minutes. No rails, no nothing, as I just shown you. I mean, come on. You're part of the doer squad. Doers do. But nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Consider subscribing, leave a like, shop Happy Chappy for your world downloads. Just search for Iron Farms and you'll see the solo one, and that one will have the link to the world download. I'll also have it in the description too as well. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel lately. I mean, ever since I did that Enderman XP farm, the channel has literally, it's exploded. It has exploded. It quite literally brought me to tears the other night. So I just want to thank you guys again so much. Leave a like, consider subscribing, shop Happy Chappy for your world downloads. This one will be in the link too as well. As you can see, I am just chit-chatting with carpet mod on, and this farm will not break. It just keeps going. So yeah, love you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.